Adi, Adi, Adi.
Recording in progress.
I'm sorry. Omagyanatimirandasya Gyananjana-Chalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today we shall be continuing from the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th chapter, text number 14. So in text 14, Bhishmadev says, Sarvam kala kritam manye bhavatam chayat apriyam sapalo yad vashe loko vayur eva ghana vali. This, in my opinion, this is all due to inevitable time, under whose control everyone in every planet is carried, just as the clouds are carried by the wind. So, sarvam kala kritam manye. Here, Bhishmadev is pointing out that kala, or the time factor, is the ultimate controller in the material existence. In the material world, everything is very much controlled by the time, the kala. So, Bhishmadev is saying that not just Yudhishthira Maharaj or Pandavas, not only people on this earthly planet, but living entities everywhere. Everywhere. Sapala. Pala means those who actually are rulers. Palaka. Palaka means person who actually maintains others. So king is generally considered a palaka. And queen is called palika. one of the names of Srimati Radharani is Palika. Palika means one who does palan for others. Palan means maintaining others. Okay. So one who is maintainer is called Palak. And queen who actually maintains the praja is assisting the king to maintain the praja. She's called Palika. So, Saloko Pala. It says Lokapala, So Lokapala means those who are actually controlling or maintaining the lokas. For example, Indra is considered the Lokapala for the Swarga. Amravati is a place which is controlled by Indra. And similarly, even on the earthly regions here, we say, different directions are ruled by different devas. Like, for example, northern region is ruled by Kubera. East is ruled by Indra or, Surya. South is ruled by Yama. West is ruled by Varuna. So in this way, there are different, palas, different maintainers of different planetary systems. So it says, Sapalo yad vashe loko, vayur eva ghanavali. All these great controllers of different planetary systems, they are all controlled. Okay. So even the greatest controllers of this creation, they are under the control of the Supreme Lord through time factor. So even if somebody is occupying the position, like say for today, if you take this today's date, so say respected Joe Biden, he's the president of United States. But if you say a couple of years ago on same date, he was like ordinary person, and maybe 2 years down the line, he will be again the ordinary person. So everyone is assuming different roles, different powers and positions simply by the influence of time. Everyone is under the control of time. In fact, Maharaj Mushkunda, he says, even the bodies of such great kings turns into the ashes or worms or the stool of animals like dogs and vultures. So even if somebody is, the great king, after he dies, he or she dies, then the body is either buried in the ground where it becomes worms. Worms eat the body. So the whole body turns into worms, which are practically insignificant. Or the body is turned into ashes by burning, especially like Hindu cultures. So the body is burned to ashes. So it becomes ashes. Today, I may be a big person, controlling big corporates or even controlling big country. But after this body, in the due course of time, when the soul leaves the body collapses, and the body turns into either worms or turns into ashes. Or in some cultures, they throw the body to animals to be eaten. So in that case, the dogs, jackals, vultures, they eat the body and it turns into the stool of those animals. So this is the ultimate destiny. One may be very much proud or puffed up, that I am so great. I am such a big controller. I have so much influence. But that's all under control of time. In due course of time, I may assume great powers. In due course of time, I become deprived of powers. So everything is controlled by time. Sarvam kala kritam manne bhavatam chayad apriyam. Apriyam means something that is not very much appreciated or light. So everyone is carried away in due course of time. So Bhishmadev gives example, just like the clouds in the sky are carried by the wind. So you may see now in the sky, sometime some clouds appear, but those clouds cannot remain permanently in the same place. They are carried by the wind. The blowing wind carries away the cloud. Actually, it's very interesting, we keep seeing so many clouds coming in the sky and they disappear, come in the sky and disappear. We cannot keep track of even a single cloud. I may see right now some cloud appearing in the sky, hovering over the sky. But at the most I can see for an hour or two the cloud, till the time it may come from one horizon and disappear in another horizon. I cannot follow the cloud. So the cloud is being carried by the wind. Similarly, everyone in this creation is carried by the time, by the kala. We go to the 15th verse. Yatra dharma suto raja gadapani rikodharam krishnostri gandivam chapam surit krishnas tato vipar. Oh, how wonderful is the influence of inevitable time. It is irresistible. Otherwise, how can there be reverses in the presence of King Yudhishthira, the son of demigod controlling religion? Bhima, the great fighter with a club. The great bowman Arjun with his mighty weapon Gandiva. And above all, the Lord, the direct well-wisher of the Pandavas. So, Bhishma Dev is expressing here his wonder that how wonderful is the influence of time. Because in the previous verse he said, Sarvam Kala Kritam Mani. I consider, in my opinion, everything is being carried by the time. Because Yudhishthira Maharaj was thinking that he is the one who has killed all the soldiers on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He is responsible for killing all the soldiers. But Bhishma Dev said, no, it is time. Time is the one who creates or makes somebody a big control, and time is the one who actually destroys everyone. So it was done by the time. So, well, if it is being done by the time, Yudhishthira Maharaj, was also told in the beginning, in the very first verse by Bhishma Dev that, oh, how many injustices, how much difficulty you all have to go through. So here Bhishma Dev is giving reasoning that Yudhishthira, generally, because Yudhishthira Maharaj must have said that, well, I suffer or enjoy because of my karma. So Yudhishthira Maharaj went through so much suffering in the life. Does that mean that Yudhishthira Maharaj was sinful? He had a lot of karmic backlog? No. So Bhishma Dev is signifying here with the word Dharma Suto. Yatra Dharma Suto Raja. My dear king, you are Dharma Suta. You are son of Dharma. So in other words, he is signifying that Yudhishthira Maharaj being son of Dharma is also very dharmic, is also very religious. He would not do anything that is irreligious, anything that is sinful. That is the words Dharma Suta signifies. And somebody say, okay, somebody is following Dharma, but that's okay. But sometimes vicious people, they may come. And then you have to have strength as well. Well then, Gadapani Rikodhan. There were also Bhima, who was holding the club in his hand. There was no scarcity of strength for the Pandavas. Bhima was so powerful. He could kill even the great demon Hidimba. He killed even, the demon in Ekachakra. His name was, Bakasur. Bakasur. He killed Bakasur. He killed Hidimba. So many demons he killed. So Bhima was very powerful. And then military, art, especially the archery, that's a great science. So Krishna Astri Gandivam Chapam. Krishna is another name of Arjun. Arjun is also called Krishna. So Arjun was holding Gandiva. That bow was so powerful that nobody could actually stand in front of Arjun. Even Indra couldn't defeat Arjun. That's how powerful Arjun was. In fact, Arjun satisfied even Lord Shiva in the battlefield. So, Krishna Asti Gandivam Chapam, Suhat Krishna Tato Vipat. And overall, Krishna was the Suhrit, well-wisher for the Pandavas. And still, Tato Vipat, and still there were Vipati, still there were difficulties or reverses for the Pandavas. So how do you explain this? Because it happened due to time. So time is Krishna's energy. It is always under the subordination of Krishna. Time is always subordinate to Krishna. So, and yet Krishna allows time factor to exercise his influence on everyone. But it's not that Krishna is not capable of nullifying the influence of time. He can. But when he comes to the material world, he allows the time factor only to take care of everything. But Krishna can nullify the effect of time. He can manipulate the time, which is his energy. So, but in general, because Krishna does not interfere with the time, therefore Bhishma Dev is saying here that it is being done by the time, which is Krishna only. Time is representing Krishna's will, Krishna's energy. So it is being happening by the sanction of Krishna only. We go to the next verse, text 16. Nahi asya karhichit rajan puman veda vidit sitam yad vijigyasya yuktam muhyanti kavayopihi. O king, no one can know the plan of Lord Sri Krishna. Even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are bewildered. So, since Bhishma Dev said that everything is being done by the time, so here, Yudhishthira Maharaj might have asked the question to Bhishma Dev that, okay, if everything is under the influence of time and time is under subordination of Krishna, so why is it that, we have to still go through suffering? Krishna was apparently our well-wisher. He was trying to help us that we should not suffer, but still we suffered. Does that mean that time is more powerful than Krishna? No. So Bhishma Dev is answering in this particular verse here. It says, Nahi asya kar hichit rajan. Oh, my dear king, no one can really know. Puman Veda vidit sitam. Veda vidit sitam. Veda means to know, and vidit so means to the plan or destiny. So no one can know the plan of the Lord. And further he says, Muhyanti kavayopi. Even Kavi means the greatly learned people. And the learned people are even people who are great philosophers, or even people who are great poets. They are all called Kavi. Okay. So he says, even the greatly learned philosophers or poets, they get bewildered. Bewildered for what? Vijigyasya yukta. They try to understand the plan of the Lord. exhaustively they try to understand the plan of the Lord, but they get bewildered. Muhyanti. So even if somebody thinks that, oh, I am so learned, I am such a great scholar, I can understand the plan of God. No. No one can actually claim that he or she knows the plan of the Lord. So Pandavas went through a lot of suffering. It was the plan of the Lord. It is not that Pandavas were suffering because of their karma. It is not that although Krishna was apparently their well-wisher, trying to, keep them in a happy condition, was incapable of nullifying their distress. No. In the form of time, Krishna was allowing the miseries to come in the life of Pandavas. And as a well-wisher friend, he was always there by their side. So anyone who sees this may get bewildered that Krishna is also actually incapable. Although Krishna is not incapable, Krishna can actually, nullify the influence of time. Krishna can nullify all the karma and then karmic reactions for anyone. But yet, Krishna allowed Pandavas to suffer, or apparently have so many material distress or sufferings come upon them. So, this is because Krishna's inconceivable plan. We go to text 17. Tasmadidam daiva tantram vyavasya bhartarashpaha tasyanu natha natapahi praja prabhu. O best among the descendants of Bharat, Yudhishthira, I maintain therefore that all this is within the plan of the Lord. Accepting the inconceivable plan of the Lord, you must follow it. You are now the appointed administrative head. And my Lord, you should now take care of those subjects who are now rendered helpless. So after the battlefield of Kurukshetra, especially the people of the world, they were devoid of any good, ruler or good king. Now Yudhishthira Maharaj has been appointed as the king. And many of the women and children lost their father or husband because so many men died. And there were 640 million men died on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. 640 million. Now, this is the estimation given from Mahabharata. So if so many men died, you can imagine, 640 million men dying on the battlefield of Kurukshetra means they were most of all those men, they must be, they were all, most of them the Kshatriyas, or even some of them they were Brahmanas, but they were all married. So there were women and there were children also. Each one of them must have had at least one or two or few children. So many women and children were rendered helpless because the head of the family died. So therefore, they are referred here as, anatha, that Bhishma, they were saying that the praja has been rendered as anatha. Tasyanuvihito anatha. Anatha means helpless or without any protector or master. So, especially a woman becomes a widow, the husband dies. It's a very difficult situation. If she has to take care of children alone without any husband's support, it's a very difficult situation. Not that it's not difficult for the men if the woman dies. But still, for a woman, it's much, much more difficult to maintain. So, therefore, children and women, they have become anatha. Praja has become actually anatha. You can say 640 men dying means 640 families were affected. Not a small number. So, therefore, he's saying Tasya Vahito Natha Natha Pahi Prajaprabhu. Therefore, you, my dear king, you should become now Natha, the protector and maintainer of all these people who have been rendered Anatha. And Bhishma Dev is actually advising Yudhishthira and that you should consider this as Daiva Tantra. Tantra is generally referring to a thread. So Tantra means like controlling something with a thread. That's called Tantra. And Tantra also is a spell, through a magical spell. If you can control somebody, that's also called Tantra. Like Tantra Shastra, we have the scriptures called Tantra Shastra, which are mainly filled with magical spells. You can cast spells on others, and control them. So Daiva Tantra means through the spell or the control or controlling thread of Daiva. Daiva means the providence, or more precisely demigods. So Bhishma Dev is saying that this whole battle was actually orchestrated by the Daiva, by the providence. And therefore, all the people died on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Now, by the Daiva Tantra, by the influence of Daiva only, these people have been rendered helpless and you have been placed as a king. It is only by Daiva that you have become the king. So, fulfill the responsibility you have as the king of all of them. So this is 17th verse. Then we go to the text 18. Text 18, Bhishmadev says, Eshavai Bhagavan Sakshat Adyo Narayana Puman Mohyan Maya Lokam Gudascharati Vishnushu. This Sri Krishna is no other than the inconceivable original personality of Godhead. He is the first Narayan, the supreme enjoyer. But he is moving amongst the descendants of King Vishnu, just like one of us, and he is bewildering us with his self-created energy. So, Bhishmadev is actually glorifying here in the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. So the words which are used for Krishna are very significant here. Eshavai Bhagavan Sakshat. This is Sakshat Bhagavan here. So Bhishmadev is saying, this, my dear Yudhishthira, here you have Krishna, who is Sakshat Bhagavan. Direct, Sakshat means direct. He is direct Bhagavan, original Bhagavan. Adyo means original, or the very first one. Okay. Adyo Narayana Bhagavan. He is the original, or the origin of Narayan, the very first Narayan. Now, this is very significant here. Many people, they have this concept that Krishna is incarnation of Lord Vishnu or Lord Narayan. But here, Bhishmadev is making a very profound statement. He says, Adyo Narayan. This Krishna is actually the original Narayana Lord. So, he's not the incarnation of Narayan, but he's the source of Narayan. Adyo Narayana Kumar. Mohayan Maya Lokam. And he bewilders everyone. Mohayan. Mohan means to bewilder. Maya, by his own energy, Maya Shakti. Lokam. He bewilders all the planetary systems into bewilderment. So, Gudacharati Vishnishu. So he is hiding. Guda means, hiding in one way. something like the word Gupta. So Gouda means, Gouda Charati Vishnu means inconceivable or in hidden way. He's moving in the Vishnu family. So he's moving among the Vishnus like an ordinary human being, but he's actually Sakshat Narayan. He is the Supreme Lord, Adyo Narayan, origin of Lord Narayan. We go to text 19. Asyanubhavam Bhagavan Veda Guhyatamam Shiva Devarishir Narada Sakshat Bhagavan Kapilo Nripa. O King, Lord Shiva, Narada, the sage among the demigods, and Kapila, the incarnation of Godhead, all know very confidentially about his glories through direct contact. So here, Bhishma Dev is glorifying Krishna, that it's not that only he is glorifying Krishna, but even the great sages like Narada, Devrishi Narada, and also Lord Shiva. He says, Veda Guhyatam Shiva. Shiva means Lord Mahadev. And then Devrishi Narada, the saintly person among the demigods. The saint among demigods is Sri Narada. Now, and Kapila. Kapila is referring to the son of Devahuti, which is described in 3rd canto of Bhagavatam. So all these personalities, they all know the confidential truths about the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Same Krishna who's standing in front of you, Maharaj Yudhishthira, the truth about him is known to the great personalities like Narada, Kapila, and Lord Shiva. So this is text 19, and we'll just read one more verse and then we'll conclude today. Yanmanyase matuleyam priyam mitram suhrittamam akaro sachivam dutam surdad atasarithim. O King, that personality whom out of ignorance only you thought to be your maternal cousin, your very dear friend, well-wisher, counselor, messenger, benefactor, etc., is that very personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. So here, Bhishma Dev is actually not only glorifying Krishna, but also glorifying the Pandavas. Yan manyase matuleyam. Matulya means Ma is generally referred to mother. Mata means mother. Matuleyam means someone who is related from mother's side. So Krishna was related to Arjun from the mother's side. The mother of Arjun was Kunti Maharani. And Kunti was cousin sister of Vasudeva, who was father of Krishna. So in that way, considering Kunti and Vasudeva's relationship, you can say Krishna and Arjun, or Krishna and Yudhishthira Maharaj, they were actually cousin brothers. So, Yan Manyase Matuli, to whom you considered your maternal cousin. And Priyam, very dear, Mitra. Priyam Mitra means very dear friend. Suhrittamam, Suhrit means there are actually different kinds of friends. One is called Mitra, Suhrit, Sakha, and Bandhu. There are 4 kinds of friendly relationships. So in English, we just say friend, but in Sanskrit, there are 4 different words for the same word friend. So Mitra means a friend. Suhrit means a very intimate friend, one who actually wishes you well. And Sakha, Sakha means one who has been friend from childhood. Mitra may or may not be from childhood, but Sakha means one who has been childhood friend. Long, long time one has been friend. And Bandhu means who is related to you as a friend. He's a friend, but he also in relationship with you. Maybe some family ties or somewhere there's relationship. So that is Suhrit. Suhrit, Bandhu, Sakha, and Mitra. These are different 4 kinds of relations. So Suhrit is considered the most intimate friend because Suhrit, Hrit means the heart, and Su means one who wishes well. So one who wishes well from the heart, he's called Suhrit. So Bhishma Dev is saying that whom you consider as your friend, Mitra, and Suhrit, your intimate friend, or well-wisher, that very personality who acted as your, Akaro means who acted as Sachivam. Sachiva. Sachiva is, like we have in the Hindi word Sachivalaya. In Mumbai, there's a place called Sachivalaya. Sachivalaya means where the ministers and their councils, they sit in one place. So Sachivam is used in the sense of counseling the ministers. Minister's main job is to counsel the king. So the person who acted as your counselor, as a minister, Sachivam. Dutam means messenger. Krishna also acted as a messenger for the Pandavas. He went to Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana on the behalf of Pandavas to negotiate that please give the kingdom of Pandavas back. But the Duryodhana especially disregarded that. So in this way, Bhishma Dev is saying that my dear Yudhishthir, you should know that this person, Krishna, who's sitting next to you, whom you consider as your cousin brother, Matulya, and your very dear friend and well-wisher, and who acted as your, minister or your messenger, or even your Sarthi. Sarthi means as a chariot driver. He acted as a chariot driver of Arjuna. So he is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is that same Supreme Lord who's controller of time as well. So in this way, Bhishma Dev is consoling Yudhishthira Maharaj and also glorifying Krishna at the same time. So I think with this, we will conclude today's session. We will skip question and answer today, but thank you very much, all the devotees. Yeah.